So I find it interesting the disparage disparity between the reaction between Luigi Mangione, is that I believe that's how his name's pronounced, versus Daniel Penny. Um, a lot of people have, uh, while at the same time deriding. I'm not talking about general public. I'm more talking about like the media itself, such as Ben Shapiro's or whatnot. A few people showing up on Pierce Morgan and whatnot, trying to deify this Daniel Penny character. I'm not going to I'm not going to say that in either case the murder was okay. I just know, legally speaking, I find it to be rather odd that when it comes to a homeless black person, a guy who, in spite of the fact that the person, according to everybody else involved, has already said was already subdued, decided to go ahead and put a lethal chokehold on him anyway, while trying to deride somebody who Uh, now I'm not justifying. I'm just drawing a correlation here due to the fact that there seems to be very heavy-handed deification of this one individual by certain. It's not necessarily the right. Remember, this is a class thing. It's not a left or right thing. Yeah. Once you understand that, this thing starts making more sense. Um, but you can have this person who will put a lethal chokehold on a person who did, it was not necessary at all, but then will simultaneously, while deifying that person, will also um, demonize somebody like Luigi Mangione. Now, like I said, not trying to like make excuses for the murder or anything like that, and I get that. And I'm not, but I do understand where he is coming from there. The fact of the matter is these insurance companies have been bilking us dry. And you know what? That's the thing, is a lot of us progressives have been talking about this very thing for a while. I don't know why it takes a right winger with a homemade gun to go off some CEO before you finally start getting what we're talking about. Because you know what the thing is it's not like that Trump supporters are overwhelmingly condemning this guy. No, like a lot of them are on the same side as me, who's saying that this is something you brought upon yourself. I'm not justifying it, but there's only so many times that you can do something extremely heinous. Like, I mean, case in point, after what I can't remember the full name of it, but Blue Cross Blue Shield. Uh, it's not United. It's Anthem, Anthem slash Blue Cross Blue Shield. Um, decided they were going to yank, at an arbitrary point, any kind of coverage of anesthesia from a surgery. So it was like suddenly you're on the hook for like 30 minutes or so of anesthesia that would have otherwise been covered, should have been covered by any other country. That would have been covered because they all have universal health care. Even like some of the second world countries, like even Cuba, in spite of how much we have done to them economically, still figured out a way to do universal health care. So I I don't accept any of the excuses for even the ACA. It's like I would prefer the ACA to what was before, sure, but even that is ridiculous. And even now, I'm in a state where my state is actively working against the the ACA, and actually actively opposes expanding the ACA in the form of Medicaid and Medicare in our state. So I mean, where do a lot of, like, I mean, what other avenues do a lot of us have? I'm not saying that we should do that, but we are kind of being bottlenecked here. Like, we're being forced into these very narrow pathways that, if we just very slightly outside of, we are completely screwed on. So I'm I'm not going to get on the whole bandwagon that Luigi Mangione is some sort of like folk hero or anything like that. But at the same time, I will say that somebody like Daniel Penny, who uh, exhibited just excessive, just everything supposedly, from what I understand from the court transcripts and just witness testimony and whatnot, is like there was no reason for that man to be choked to death. Like, there's no reason why Daniel Penny should be walking free today. Like, so, like, while I'm not going to condone the the murder of the CEO, I'm also not going to condone the murder of a mentally ill homeless black man. Doesn't really matter what color he is. Black woman, black trans, black whatever, black, white, green, gray, I don't care. It's just not okay. It's like until you right wingers actually understand that. Like, it's just that we're just not on the same page. So,